Hello and welcome to another weekend of Punters Guide. We have got classics, group races, handicaps. Every single punter is catered for this weekend. Jason Weaver is alongside me. And a wide spread. You've got 10 races on ITV, Jason. Loads to look forward to.
Yeah, going to be a little bit of a punting fest, isn't it? One of those where it's going to go race. It's absolutely manic. There are some close to top draw action. Obviously, the Guineas, which we'll get stuck into, but a whole host of sprinters. And nobody as yet, obviously with Dragon Symbol running such a poor race the other day at York, nobody's really thrown their hat into the ring as far as the sprinting division is concerned. We could see that all change. What a warm-up for the Commonwealth and the returning rocket, if you like, for Tim Easterby.
Yeah, loads to look forward to. We'll get stuck into the classic then, first of all. Over in Ireland, of course, the Irish 2000 Guineas. Is this a penalty kick? The market suggests it is for Native Trail, for the boys in blue to get back to winning ways. Or can Buckaroo lower Native Trail's colours?
I think that if we're being honest, Buckaroo has got to perform £11 better than he ever has done. And Native Trail has to underperform. We know that he's got to like him for the track. They're adamant at the moment that they're not going to step him up in trip. If I had one little sneaking suspicion, I mean, it's a stiff mile at the Curragh, but I think that he wants every inch of this. We saw that at Newmarket where he didn't really come down the hill, and then he was, was he absolutely flying at the death? I think he was just starting to get motoring. So 1.25 miles could well end up being his optimum distance. Whether we'll see him going against the likes of Baid later on because of ownership and all that sort of stuff, we'll wait and see. But look, he's got to underperform not to win.
The Native Trail then won for the Ackers, no doubt, in the Irish 2000 Guineas. Let's head over to Haydock then. I've got a great array of handicaps and group races there. Now, we had the London Gold Cup last week, which was one of the biggest three-year-old handicaps of the year, and the Silver Bowl isn't too far behind at 235. We've got a shorty in it, Mighty Ulysees for Jonathan Thader. Goes on Benoit de la Salle on board, claiming 5. Very impressive when we saw him last time out.
Yeah, look, Outgate has been in fantastic form. You've got a few in here that still got serious tickets to improve. Spirit Catcher, 120,000 as a 2-year-old. Who Put 50 in You? What a great little name that is. And if you find out how much he cost, they were obviously arguing or stood next to the jukebox at the time. 91,000 euros, 840. What a strange number that is. So I don't know if that was where came the Who Put 50 in You, but it's all about Mighty Ulysees. He's got some big race entries. He looked really good on his debut last year. Good run in the Blue Ribbons. That form has stacked up quite well, obviously with United Nations coming out of there. And he was far too keen. They dropped him in trip. He now goes in here. He's handicapping. Young lad on board is absolutely flying, down to £5 now. So he looks a bit of a penalty kick, especially if he's going to take up that engagement at the Royal Meeting. Possibility we could see him up at the top table taking on Curragh.
There we are then, yeah. Okay, Mighty Ulysees then could be a handicap good thing in the Silver Bowl. Talk the Royal Meeting. The Commonwealth Cup, of course, will be on the agenda for many in the Sandy Lane. Now, the market settled down a little bit. Rosa Ryan was quoted the week as saying, you didn't understand the market. Now, his Go Bears Go is favourite over El Caballo. The form of both continually gets franked.
They're very solid individuals. I know that Carl Burt was extremely bullish regarding El Caballo when he won up at Newcastle. He has got form on the turf, so that's not going to be a problem. 2 runs, his 2 runs early when he was second, and then he managed to come out and win. Go Bears Go was lucky enough to be in the paddock and have a look at him prior to that return at Ascot. He was fit and ready to go. I know they're saying that they left a bit to work on and all that sort. I'm telling you now, he was fit and ready to roll. If they think they're going to squeeze out some more improvement, good luck to them. But he's proven me wrong on a few occasions, the trainer. In the paddock, there is no getting away from Wings of War as being the best standout model, if you like, as an improving big 3-year-old this year. Now, he's got a few lengths to find. However, he ran with the choke out. The winner made the run in and just dropped his nose on the floor. And I feel that Adam Kirby's got it wrong. He switches up to Katura. Take into that consideration, Wings of War is minus the £4 that he carried for his Mill Reef success, back on level weights. That drags him right into the equation. He's completely forgotten about as far as the market is concerned. They're sprinters. We know how much they improve from one run to the next. Wings of War, massive each way player.
Interesting. The Wings of War for Clive Cox. Yeah, he's been tipped up in a couple of places for the big one at Royal Ascot at a bigger price. Interesting. Wings of War then in the Sandy Lane. It's interesting the jockeys David Probert and Adam Kirby, because they kind of hold the key for me in the Temple Stakes. David Probert claimed to ride Kings, and he's been riding Twilight Calls. Like Adam Kirby gets on board him, but obviously all centres around Winter Power, the Nunthorpe winner, who for me, Jason, I thought was vulnerable this weekend.
Really, that is an interesting angle in. Look, some old favourites, Ainsdale, new trainer, Arecibo, we know what he's like, could be flashing home late, came from the dark, this is his track. He's, King's Lynn was absolutely put in his place by Flaming Rib, wasn't it? There's no getting away from that. That was a sit down moment. Mondamedge, the old favourite, Twilight Calls looked good. He then stepped up. He got put in his place as well. For me, the jockey is the absolute key. And I'm a big fan of Sylvester de Souza, don't get me wrong. But sometimes he just doesn't click with horses. David Allen has ridden Winter Power on 3 occasions. And on 3 occasions, he's been successful. He's got a real handle on her. Make no mistake about that. And if there was one in the sprinting division that was going to be stamping its authority, it's got to be her. Don't worry about her being fit. I think they've got to try and keep a lid on her at home. She wants to. She's got two paces, hasn't she? Walk and flat out. She'll be fit.
Interesting. Sticking with Winter Power. I just thought that the Nunthorpe form hadn't worked out. I thought she might just be a York horse, but we'll see, of course, this weekend. So, Jason, very much with Winter Power. It's not just all about Haydock, though, and the Curragh. Let's have a look at Goodwood's. They've got a feature race as well. They're 2:15. It's over a mile and a quarter. It is a listed contest. 9 set to go to post. Our old favourite Brentford Hope. Not sure if he's going to get his ground this weekend, but it looks wide open, doesn't it? Majestic Dawn in there, former Cambridgeshire winner. Good field as well for a little listed contest. Usually these are quite small.
Yeah, tidy little contest. Brentford Hope. I mean, he didn't run at Chester, and he couldn't have called it fast ground or anything like that. But he's been a multiple non-runner on loads of occasions. We know how much ability he's got, and Richard Hughes is being very picky as to when he lets him take his chance. Majestic Dawn and West End Charmer, the two that are likely to go and push forward. Al Zarakan, he's not quite continued with that early progression that he showed for Archie Watson. One in here, Movin Time, was fatter than me. It had never had its head out of the manger over Christmas. I don't know if they put Netflix in the corner of the stable or whatever, but I'd put him up last time when he ran at Newmarket. Young Harry Davis was on board, and he walked into the paddock, and I thought, oh my God, I backed a bullock. Never mind a racehorse when he came into the paddock. Saw Roger Varian, said, looks like he might need it, and he just sort of nodded his head and walked on past. He's going to strip much, much fitter this afternoon. I hope they drop him in. That's absolute key for me. He's been pushed up a little bit handy and tried to go too forward. When he ran really well at the Royal Meeting, he was up in the van and he was the only one to last out and hang on to the tails of the horses who came from the back of the pack. So I just hope they drop him in. He'll be much fitter this time.
Yeah, Moving Time. Then for Roger Vane, Andrea Azzini heading to Goodwood to ride him this weekend. And we're going to have a look at the feature race at York as well before we say cheerio. The 3:30 is for the fillies. It's the Bronte Cup. The staying fillies will have a mile and 3/4. The Irish have a good handle here with Mighty Blue and Joseph O'Brien. But will we see a better Believe in Love again for Roger Vane than we did in Chester?
Yeah, I think so. She can be relied upon to step forward. They're all, well, bar the likes of Cecil, who's down on the mark of 85, within 10, 12 pound of each other. So there's, and we know what it's like this time of year, fillies, some warm weather, a bit of cold weather. Some of them have come in their coats. I think that the filly who came over from Ireland, Silence Please, for Andrew Balding, she wasn't unlucky last time. Don't get me wrong. She wasn't unlucky, but she was checked at a vital stage. So she could have got a bit closer. The winner was rated nothing, Bart Zeller, on that occasion. She's been put up £14 by the handicapper for that particular performance. So it was a really good run, an improving type who we're going to see step up in grade again. So this filly had some real good form over in Ireland for Jesse Harrington. Be nice for Rob Hornby. He's been finishing second in a lot of decent races recently, hasn't he? So he'll be itching to get a big one on the board. Silence Please, I think, is probably the class angle in the lineup.
Andrew Bolling does really well, doesn't he, with these recruits from Ireland, especially these fillies in these listed Group 3 contests. So there's 6 of the 10 ITV races looked at. What would be the idea of a best bet on the card? Have we mentioned it, or is it something to come a little later on?
Yeah, I think that early on, I'm going to go and stick in the 145. Alia Toby is an interesting contender who goes for John and Thady Gosden in the 145. Looked really good when winning at Yarmouth. He then put up a tidy performance after he bombed out badly at York on soft conditions. Didn't see him again. He came out. He's run a really good reappearance effort. The key with him, it's a bit of a weather watch. It needs to be good or quicker. Good or quicker ground is absolutely key. If it goes the other way and we get a bit of a downpour, just have a word of warning as far as him is concerned. Quick ground suits. I think that he was thought of, as a Royal Ascot juvenile. He set off fairly good this season with a decent reappearance.
Well, then I would say being the 145, the 7-furlong handicap at Goodwood, the idea, the best bet of the weekend from Jason with you. See Jason on ITV, a huge weekend, really busy weekend. Classics, handicaps, group races as well. Loads of Royal Ascot clues.
Football.
And the football, the final day, of course, of the season. Plenty to look forward to. Title decided, top 4. You having the goals galore this weekend?
Oh my word, it's got to be, hasn't it? They will be kicking it up and down the park. I hope some of them no hope has got the young boys stretching their legs. Could be anything on offer.
Whatever you're back in this weekend, and the very best of luck.